Oh, hi, this is Tammy Melody Gomez. That's my name, and I'm the founder and host of this monthly series. It happens every third Saturday of the month. It started out in November 2020 as the Dando series, and we added a couple of syllables here in the second year. It's Recordando, which means remembering. And every month there's a theme, and this month, National Poetry Month. Woohoo. Recordando tus palabras, remembering your words, which I mean, that to me, that harkens to the idea not only of like remembering your poetry or remembering it if you've committed it to memory and then you're blanking out on the stage in front of 500 people, but also remembering like your words, like not being afraid to use your vocabulary and in the face of, people trying to shut you down or persuade you of fool-headed ways of thinking. Remember your words. So yeah, Lupe, gracias. Welcome to you as well. Yes, since November of 2020, because I wanted to create an open opportunity for poets around the country and elsewhere to join us virtually, because we're feeling a little bit high and lonesome with, social options being so limited. But here in 2022, it seems that some of us are enjoying this community that we've built. And if folks don't like driving or getting out of the house or live in geographical locations that are not Fort Worth, Texas, they can be in this space. And it's amazing the kind of exchanges and mutual kind of connectedness that happens. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we are now recording, and these sessions eventually get uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you need to or want to share the link for the YouTube video with others who weren't able to see you perform or share in person, and virtually, when it was actually happening for the first time, then they can go to the recording on YouTube. Okay, well, I hope everybody's having a happy April. The weather is just sublime in the 817 tonight, just sublime. The humidity level is miraculously below 40%, I think, and it's just really nice. Temp is also below 70, which I could live like this all the time. Who wants to open up the space? I know, Jeffrey, you said you have a poem. I'm not going to count on you to open if you don't want to, but if you'd like to start us off, that'd be fine too. Jeffrey Pullis, who is a longtime aficionado of the Dando Recordando series.
Well, I could start. It's
cool.
This is I consider it largely a found poem. And I mentioned that I was involved with some global social witnessing. And this is the poem that came out of that experience. And it's called Witnessing. Breathe in deeply. Then long, slow exhale. And breathe in again. On the exhale, feel the wave that flows down through your body to your feet as you exhale again slowly. Feel into your feet, and then through your feet into the earth beneath you. We need to feel our grounding to Mother Earth, the soil beneath our feet, to truly feel the other person who speaks before you, to be a witness. Why? She wailed. Why? I am from Ukraine, and I live in Germany, and my whole family lives in Ukraine, and my father is in Kiev now. Every time I speak to him, I don't know if it will be the last time. And there are no words to describe. This is insane. Oh, sorry. My kids are here running around. And my brother has 3 sons, 18, 16, and 14. They are hiding somewhere in West Ukraine. I don't know. What? Must these boys go to fight? It's really, really hard. My question is, how can we survive this? I'm shaking for 4 days. And we started organizing stuff, demonstrations, but it's just this pain. I mean, I can't even begin to describe this. It's just shock. And then you do something. Let's do something. Let's demonstrate. We made a demonstration. We thought it would be 50 people. 850 came. Because what a disaster. And then, I don't know, I mean, how can this happen? Why? And for me, it's crazy to live in Germany because here life goes on. People go and buy, I don't know, ice cream. They go to the cinema, and my people are dying. How can this be? And people are hiding somewhere in subways, in the bunkers, and babies are born in the bunkers. It's the war. How can you just watch this? Do something. And they're fighting so hard. Nobody thought they would be fighting so hard. And these people are just doing everything together. But do you understand how much stronger they are, how desperate, what a dark hour. And my people, they just want to live in their country. And there are such brutal reports. They shoot kindergartners. How can this happen? Why? The words are just not enough. They're not enough for this crime. I'm shaking with my whole body since days. And I'm barely sleeping. And yeah, I'm trying to breathe and feel into my feet. How can Ukraine survive this? Will it be all ruined? You know, every morning I wake up and I pray to God, is this not over yet? There is so much pain I cannot explain. But how can we stop it? How? How can we stop it? Why? Take a couple of deeper breaths. Feel your way into your body. What are you feeling in your body? That's the end.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for that found poem. There's a bunch of found poems on that theme in all our ears. But I felt it was really useful to hear those words coming through your, coming out from you, and not a journalist or, the radio or. Thank you.
Kind of a heavy start for our poetry reading.
We can lift. We can do heavy lifting. I'd like to do a piece that maybe kind of segues off of what you just read. So let me see if the Zoom will let me do that. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna have to wait. Let me see. Oh, actually, here it is. Okay, so this piece is one that I read maybe a couple of months ago. And I just got notification last night that it's gonna be published in online journal, About Place journal. So I'm happy for that. And this is a piece that I wrote many years ago, and I don't know that I need to give it a preface, but I wrote it many years ago, but it's resonating with me a lot these days. Here it goes. It's titled In the Metro Tunnel with Gabriela. In the metro tunnel with Gabriela, she rubs the lamp while I click my heels. And the amused gentleman in a sports jacket, holding a broken flashlight, smiles gently as he watches. And the soot-smeared face of the now orphaned child lights up as we smile in her direction and reach for her hand. In the metro tunnel with Gabriela, she has remembered the radio, and I distribute the bread. And the shaken wife, whose blonde husband is lost, asks to sit with us, and we quietly oblige. And the hungry teacher, with the frostbitten toes, thanks me for bread as I put my gloves on his feet. In the metro tunnel with Gabriela, we have not rehearsed for this moment, but we have instincts to trust in one another. The tunnel fills with our warmth, and the voices begin to hum with happier notes. Much tenderness is shown. I know we have brought comfort without plan, and it is the least we can do. Our lives have prepared us for this. In the metro tunnel with Gabriela, her laughter disperses the smell of sorrow, like ancestors taught us when we listened. In the metro tunnel with Gabriela, above us the sirens sound, but all I choose to hear is the thump of brave hearts surviving through this darkness. I think when well, I wrote this piece about I'll offer a little explanation. I wrote this piece because I loved how Gabriela works so well with me when we do performance projects, and we haven't done a project together in many years, but we did a whole bunch in the early part of the century, and she just had these great instincts, and she could practically finish my sentences, and she knew what props were appropriate, and it was just great. I'm like, oh my God, Gabriela, if if a disaster happens, I want to be in the metro tunnel with you, that kind of feeling. We have our people, right, who we know have disaster personalities that are useful, because you may have people who are upstanding, seemingly resilient, brilliant, and able-bodied, or maybe not so able-bodied but able, but then they freak out in a disaster, the people that kind of go into paralysis and need to be slapped like we see in the disaster movies. But when a disaster happens, like when the lights go out and there's panic, and there's a tornado tears through the neighborhood, you kind of find out what people's disaster personalities are, and then you make a whole bunch of new friends too. So I think that's a useful thing to think about. Who are these people that haven't showed up in your life, but they'll be there in the metro tunnel with you, and you'll just be acting like family without question, helping each other meet needs. Who would like to go next? Who's feeling it? I'm reading your comment, Richard. Oh, feel free to use the chat with for feedback, comments, you know, just anything that connective tissue. That's always nice to see in the chat.
I could go, but I have this aversion to having the guys all talk first. So
I'm
I've
not a
just
guy.
wanted
It's okay. It's really
yeah, you
it's
are,
really-
aren't you?
I'm
You're kind of
I'm guyish. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Is it okay with people if I read something?
Raise your hand if you don't want Richard to read now.
Why
Okay,
are we
well-
asking permission? Read.
So
Goodness,
Okay.
goodness.
thank you, Laura.
You have my permission if you want it.
Thank you. Because you had this theme, I dragged out, I have an unpublished chapbook where all the pieces are about writing and word language and words and stuff. So I was like, well, let's see what's in there. And I have two, one super short and one quite very short, and then another one that's just short, if that's okay. And the third one is actually kind of warlike, and it's sort of messed up, but it's just happens to be what I chose. The super short one is, for some reason, confuses every room full of poets that I read it to, and I have no idea why. It's called The Truth. There's a small concept title. The Truth. A poem doesn't tell you how the world works. It asks you. The truth. Is that confusing, everyone?
That's marvelous.
Would you mind reading it again? Because I think I
Please.
misheard a word. If
You
don't
may
mind.
have. I don't. Can you hear me okay? I could put my things on. Let me do this.
I heard you okay. I think I just wasn't hearing them. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's not my earbuds aren't going to work. It goes, the truth. A poem doesn't tell you how the world works. It asks you. That's all. Just a thought. Your body. Your body is made entirely of words. Your face of etymologies. Your eyes of allusions. Your hair of syllables. Your lips of entendres. Your teeth of phonemes. Your throat of adverbs. Your spine of syntax. Your chest of metaphors. Your heart of clauses. Your gut of hyperbole. Your sex of conjunctions. Your ass of paradox. Your hips of euphony. Your thighs of rhythm. Your shins of diction. Your feet of rhetoric. And all these words ring out, resound their language through the world in great fleshly ripples. That one's called Your Body. And the last one doesn't have a title. It's just a block of text. And it's sort of messed up, and it is ambiguous on purpose. It might mess with your heads a little. It messes with mine. Of course, I'm a mammal sitting in a room writing in a city on fire. Of course. And of course it is burning because we set the fire. We who are city. We who are salt set it on fire because we sob sparks and birth flame, and our bodies are nothing but the gases of memories. Memories of bodies, the hundreds we each have been, of flesh and hair and genders, the hundreds of genders we each have been, mirrors in mirrors in mirrors, with a heart at one end and an eye at the other. Gender and hearts and nipples and a biting wind and death everywhere, as stone cold cinders and cinder blocks and engines purring, roaring, the death of flesh with each new purr, with each new song. And we, we with the strange, familiar bodies full of old trees and new birds. We planted the seed of the engine that purred and left it to grow, roaring in the canyons and shattering space. So here, in the shattering space, mouths full of aspirin and the sweat of our siblings, our families and neighbors, all chained to the block, we talk ourselves silly in muted frustration of how did we get here? What have we wanted? What have we needed? And what did we do? How did this happen? Why do we worry? And what can we do to release us from what? Unable to say, unable to speak, we grunt, we holler and burn all the pages that lead us astray. And what do you know? However our passion ignited the facile rejoinders of slave makers, however it started, whatever we wanted, it's now conflagrating, flagrating, and burning the walls from around our mammalian heads. So here we sit writing in a city on fire and hope to make pages to capture the beauty of those that we've burned in our urgent campaign. I told you it was kind of messed up, but I like it.
You are fascinating. But I would love to actually see this in print to be able to pour over it. There was a lot there.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm broken. I think I prefer broken.
As are we all.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you know, publish the chapbook. That one's not published, you know.
Yesterday around 4 p.m. What my brain does hearing some of your work, Richard, that brain thing was happening yesterday around 4 because I went to see everything and everywhere all at once, the movie. And oh my gosh, it's such a mind bend and I love it. It was amazing. I immediately wanted to see it again. So yes, a lot of questions were raised and not a lot of answers and yeah, that work challenges. I love it. I love literature when it does it and film when it does it. Thank you. That's my way of saying thank you to you.
I was trying to find it to attach it and I can't find it. It's just printed out. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Well, please come back because we aren't too many today. So there probably will be time to share again. We have La Lupe Castillo in the room. Lupe, are you prepared to share something now or not?
Certainly I can. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, I think this is my first time here, right? And so thank you for holding this space. I think it's much needed. Yeah, so
Lupe, may I ask you, do you mind saying where you are geographically located? I'm curious.
Yes. So my name is Lupe and my poet name is La Poetres. Just doing spoken word, creative arts, and organizing communities with heart and art. So I was born in El Valle in Harlingen. And so, but I was raised in Minnesota, but I've always had a heart connection. And thankfully, my abuelita is still there. I'm going to go see her in 10 days. And so I'm really excited and just feel really honored that I can go see her. So lots going on in Minnesota, but I've always been connected with my Indigena, roots and my teachings and my ceremonies. And this was very much what saved me living in Minnesota for almost all of my life, with all of the turmoil and everything that happens here in the Midwest on a daily. So I'm always appreciating of these spaces. They're just they fill my soul, and to share palabras with other writers. So gracias. I think I'll share one and maybe two. This one is titled Drum Song, and this was written almost 15 years ago. Drum Song. Mijo, hombrecito. I stop and stand, hearing the familiar beats as I hear your drumming before I see you. You have continued your drumming. I hear a comunidad in your drumming. I feel their prayers in each drum beat, that you instinctively, succinctly touch on the deer skin covered wiwit. I see the hearts of the warriors in your eyes as you yourself keep your pained, strained arms on the drumbeat, as if the ancient ones depended upon you to guide their journeys home. Drumbeats, heartbeats, they are one and the same for you. Many hearts, many souls hear your drum and are requickened as they again bring hearts back to their familias. Suns rise upon your soul, souls rest upon sundown. Mama, you say to me, my spirit dreams keep drumming and I awake with new songs. Heed this, mijo. It is the ancient ones that have gifted you to bring the inherent rhythms of our raza to their hearts. Drum beats, heartbeats, drum beats, heartbeats. They are one and the same for you. Thank you.
Oh, that's so powerful. Hey, everybody, feel free to unmute so our readers can hear that we're in the space and feeling the feelings and reactions that we're having.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you, Lupe. Thank you.
Yes.
So you're how old is your son?
Well, now he's 32.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
He's been drumming a long time.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yep. So we have a long history with danza in our community. So
Lupe, do you want to offer a second one now?
sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This one is titled Vamos a luchar. Vamos a luchar por la raza. Vamos a luchar por la familia. Vamos a luchar por la justicia. You say as a mujer, I can fight by supporting you, but your weight bears down on my body, taking the breath out of me slowly with each exhale. You put your hands on our bodies and expect us not to yell and take your souls. You say as a mujer, I can fight by standing by your side. But when you have respected positions within the community that we work in, you send us away with no insurance, no benefits to take care of the new generations, the same generations that you receive grants to teach. You say as a mujer, I can fight by never questioning you in public, that we can take care of it behind the doors of our casitas, not in front of the güeros. But we never speak in our casitas, and the silence is felt. You say as a mujer, I can fight by having constant meals prepared, and not only prepared, but bien sabroso. But you never kiss the hands of the abuelitas that bring comida to nourish your soul. You say as a mujer, I can bear your children to have un raza unida with beliefs in familia, but your heart not appreciating or understanding the bloodshed in this sacred ceremony. And it is not you or your kind that I want to bear my children. Sí, sí voy a luchar. Fight for la raza, fight for la familia, fight for la justicia, to see women who are strong, who can love in our own way. Because if we don't fight for our children, if we don't fight for our rights, if we don't teach our children that they and us are worth our bloodshed, so that they can walk in dignity, so that they can walk in honor, we have nothing. They will walk with honor, dignity, and eyes ahead. Mashikatiawi.
Wow. Yes. Give it
Thank
up
you.
for Lupe, y'all.
Wonderful.
Lupe, I think I missed this, but where are you living right now? Where are you located?
Minnesota, Midwest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where in Minnesota?
Minneapolis. Where else?
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Just curious. Yeah.
Yep. So
Mhm.
definitely. Thank you for sharing this with me.
Where is it that Winona LaDuke is from? Is it called White Earth Reservation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
North of here.
Okay.
Mhm.
Have you visited that land? Have you been on there?
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah. Very sacred and very special. You know, lots going on, and she's spearheaded many projects, you know, to have sustainability within her communities.
yeah, I'm just, I have so much respect for the work that she's
Yeah.
done, and people like Mililani Trask, all the Trask women. They're amazing,
Mhm.
amazing women. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for sharing. And then if
Thank you.
we may circle back because we may have time si quieres leer otra
Mhm.
después.
Okay.
I'm so glad you've joined the circle, Lupe. Who wants to read next? Laura, I know you read a poem when we were in person a week or so ago. Do you have that piece with you today?
I have a couple, and it's funny. I went back and looked, and I found the first poem of a set that I'd written. I'll give it a go.
Yes, go for it. Thank you.
Life, see, was earthen, a creature of land. For season after season, I methodically combed through rocks and roots to save the small things I understood. Then deep winter descended, but I'd wintered before. The loam beneath my feet would thaw and soften, and I would dig as before. On the first sunny day, I felt unexpected, bitter cold wash my heels. For the first time it occurred I should turn. And for the first time I knew that this new unfamiliar rhythm, the roar was not just wind, but vast white water as far as my eyes could see. I now understood. I had stood only on shoreline. I was never rooted in land nor anything at all. That unfamiliar, unrelenting current effortlessly took me, feet touching nothing for the first time, torn from continent and ties and all that ever was, while massive chunks of ice scraped away the shoreline forever. I exist in aftermath only now. Phantom limbs and viscera extend clumsily, forced into a new form. numb, flailing, failing to drown despite myself, remaking myself to weather water, while the river mercilessly speeds and spins and falls and flows. That was the first thing I had written after my husband Bear died. I wrote that 2 days after he passed. And I hadn't gone back to visit it until today. And tomorrow would be our 18th wedding anniversary. So I thought maybe it would be good to read that one.
Oh my gosh, tomorrow, which is Easter Sunday, as it turns out this year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's let Laura hear some of our love here. Thank you for, that's bold to share that tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, that was something.
Mm.
Thanks.
Holding you gently.
Thank you. No, it's funny to go back, because as we all go back into our journals and kind of mine into our past, you know, what appears or sounds one way at the time is something completely different. I mean, when you have time and you have perspective. But yeah, that was when something traumatic happens and you're so immediately in a moment that you literally just feel like you're just picking through rocks and dirt and debris. And that was just kind of, you know, where I was. And I think where a lot of people are when it comes to trauma. So.
Totally. It rearranges our earths. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's funny that we have a Minnesota connection here tonight, because the one thing, I grew up in Kansas, and being rooted on continent and being rooted in earth, I mean, that's something very important to me. I remember the first time I went swimming in the ocean and I kind of panicked. It's like, I'm not touching the continent anymore. I mean, it was like a real thing. I mean, it's like, wait a minute, where am I here? So.
Yeah, I'm seeing another through line with maybe a sense of rootedness or unrootedness. When we can't touch the ground, then we don't feel like we're tethered to land. And then Jeffrey started us off with this beautiful meditative piece about touching the ground with our bare feet. And yeah, I'm just loving all these different motifs coming up. And it's kind of like we're forming this greater communal piece that's kind of put together with excerpts from things we're sharing now. And we're not even done yet. So more of that will happen. Thank you to all who have shared so far. It's been really wonderful. I know these things happen once a month, but like, and it, you know, every third Thursday, Saturday comes around pretty quickly for me. But when I'm in the moment, I do feel like, oh my God, it's been way too long, because the feeling I get when I'm in the space with you, it's like, oh, wow, I miss this feeling. And I'm glad I'm having it now. And it has been too long. You know, it's been a month. I want to, and I hope this doesn't seem like too much of an interruption or disruption of our vibe, but I'm just in this mood where I want to share something, and it has to do with that word game that a lot of us are playing lately, and it's called Wordle. And who's laughing? Somebody's laughing.
It's Laura. I that makes me laugh, because even my students, you know, are talking about Wordle, and they're elementary students. Everybody Wordle.
Everybody Wordles. Well, I'm gonna share a screen for a moment, and this is one because I'm actually I'm such a dork. Because I have obsessions and interests and curiosity. So I guess if that's what a dork is, I'm the dork.
Is this going to be a big a spoiler? Because I haven't even looked at a Wordle.
Oh no,
yet.
no, these are from the past. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm going to riff on this. So the first word is skate. Obviously, the second word is woohoo, all green tiles. And so I'm thinking about Let's see, I'm thinking about Ken Shimamoto works at the music shop on Magnolia Street, which is 2 doors over, or maybe 1 door over from the skate shop, where the kids on Magnolia are out there on their longboards or shortboards or however longboards, doing those nasty tricks. And you know, their muscular forms hitting hard when they land. It's not a soft thing to see, hitting the concrete, the pavement. And when I'm biking past, barely holding on to balance myself on 2 wheels, I wonder how they manage to do what they do with those boards and not get crushed by the person careening around the corner in their hefty 2-ton vehicle to make it to Benito's before the lunch special deal is off the table. Thank you. Skate nasty.
That was awesome.
That's funny that you mentioned that music shop. We used to work with the guy who owns that place.
Yeah, and I would have said his name, but I couldn't remember it in the moment. So I said,
Dan.
what's his name?
Dan.
Dan what?
Lightner.
Lightner. Like
Yeah,
Lightner.
Dan Lightner.
Lightner. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm in the mood to make word art with Wordle outcomes. Ta-da! So is there anybody who wants to read before I introduce the featured poets for the night? Anybody want to bring another poem to the mic first? Okay. All right, well then we'll proceed then with the section where we get to hear our 2 featured poets who are sitting in front of one computer because they're living together as housemates, and you've been co-workers, and you've been all kinds of shenanigan partners, and going to
Yes.
have high tea and in high-end hotels and all kinds of things. And I love hearing about your adventures, and fill in the blanks if I'm not telling this quite correctly, but it seemed that last year maybe you both decided that you were in the mood to release a book, and y'all worked on them pretty hastily, to me it seemed anyway, and you released
Oh no, this has been 2 years coming.
2 years.
Yes, we got the idea when the pandemic hit, and we were locked in the house doing nothing, so we thought, hey, let's do chapbooks. And then we did other things. And every now and then we'd go, hey, remember those chapbooks? Life kept coming along and kicking us, going, no, you must pay attention to this. And we're like, but we want to do our books. Nope. But we finally did it. Yes, we finally did it.
So they officially were released it's been about a month or 2, is that correct? Was it March or
No, it was actually beginning of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you did the reading last weekend or so. So Crystal Miller and Shanna Hale will be reading, and I don't know how you want to do it. Do you want to do one poem, going back and forth like a round robin, or do you want to each have your own separate
Yeah,
time?
that's what we discussed. Round robining.
Round robining.
Exactly.
I don't know why it's a robin. I don't know why it's not a crow or a cardinal, but I guess there's
I think it should be a
alliteration.
raven, personally.
A round
fits us.
raven, yeah. A round raven. I like that. Okay, well, who wants to go first? And that way I can properly. Yeah, Crystal Miller is on first. Everybody give it up for Crystal Miller, who's a dear friend. And both of these folks are residents of Fort Worth, Texas, by the way.
Nice.
Take it away, Crystal.
So my chapbook is Dancing on the Edge of Memory. And I'm real proud of this because I've never put out a chapbook before, even though I've been in the Fort Worth poetry scene since I was about 17, believe it or not. Down on Berry Street when there used to be readings down there. And I should have been in high school, but I had better things to do, like hang out with poets and musicians. And I probably got a much better education, honestly, down there than I did. Not that there's anything wrong with the education system when I was in there, but I learned stuff I would not have learned and about authors I wouldn't have learned. So anyway, that's old news. So this first one is it's the beginning poem in the book, and it's called Dusty Memories. They are starting to really stack up along the wall, these memories, old and dusty, a potential fire hazard aimed at bringing down this house of cards. Maps of old paths, owner's manuals to a life that simply wasn't sustainable, and brochures of places not lived are spilling from drawers, falling from shelves, and I have grown weary of restacking them. Life cannot be built on things growing mold. Decaying husks are not sustenance. Deep breaths cannot be taken of stale air, and growth is unable to happen if there is simply no room to move. It's time to leave, but flat tires and broken wheels won't get me anywhere but here. So I guess I'll thumb a ride when I see some new beginnings and hope some old friends are driving the car.
My chapbook is called To the World. Once upon a very long time ago, I turned 21. During my high school years, I was head over heels for this one boy. I waited for 5 years for him to come to his senses. He did not. So I moved on and I got engaged. I was going to get married about a month after my birthday. Well, a group of friends took me out for my birthday, and all of a sudden, the emotional and sexual innuendos were just flying, and I went home going, seriously? I waited for 5 years for you and you wait till now? And so I sat down and I wrote To the World on my 21st birthday, and that was it. That was a done deal. It was a one-off. Well, 4 years later, my life imploded. And I came home and needed something. So I sat down and I wrote another To the World to let everybody know where I was standing. And it's since become a tradition. And I'm going to start with To the World on my 27th birthday. Hi, glad to see you. You see, I was hoping you might explain this map to me, or at least tell me which line I should be following, because after a while, the twists meet the turns look like rivers. It should be over the river and through the woods, but I don't want to go to grandmother's house. I'm beginning to think that left turn at Albuquerque sounded pretty good. And whoever decided to give me a map anyway? I'm much better with map colors, but no one seems to be asking my opinion in the matter. I'm terribly afraid I'm just going in circles and I'm getting rather dizzy. I was supposed to be starting with a clean slate. So why do I feel like someone forgot to clean the chalkboard? All I see are yesterday's equations, and they're just not adding up anymore, if they ever did. Starting over is beginning to feel like doing it all over again, but doing it that way got me right where I am now. And do you see my problem? Sleeping dogs are fine, but what happens if you're a cat person? I'm surrounded by fairy tales, unmatched socks, and procrastinated dreams. I've run out of sugar, so even the tea's not sweet. Games are fine, but let's stay away from truth or dare, okay? I know now where I want to be, so why am I just standing still? Maybe I'm just fighting for the wrong things, or maybe all the right things, but the wrong reasons. Maybe I shouldn't be fighting at all. I mean, shouldn't I give peace a chance? But peace for whom? Me? You? The world? Or maybe just the voices in my head? You'll have to forgive me if I ramble. You see, I'm trying to build a ladder of words to get me back up to the top of this cliff, where maybe this map will make sense and the pieces of my life will fall together, and the next step I take will not lead me right back here. I know, it's all about attitude, which is why I continue to buy crazy shoes in the hopes that they may rub off on me. I mean, who can have a bad day in knee-high silver combat boots? But I wonder if this is what it's all about. Stomping through my life, looking so hard for direction, I fully forget to look where I'm at. Just one more voice that likes to pretend she can be heard screaming, I am a strong woman! But in reality, just a quiet child with a cupcake and candle whispering, happy birthday to me.
That was awesome.
Lovely. Oh,
I love that
thank
one.
you. Thank you. A big shout out to the fish in the tank. They're very active this time of year.
Yeah, Big
A
Fish.
big fish.
Yeah, his name is Big Fish.
Big fish. Oh, okay.
He has attitude.
Yeah, he always has to make his.
I love it. Love it. And then yeah, that painting behind you also has some attitude. So go for it.
Yes, that's. I love that painting. I was next to this. I can't. What was his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, I was next to him at an art fair, and he had all these beautiful paintings. And I sat and admired that painting all day, and I thought, oh, he probably wants, $1,000 for it or something. But it was affordable, and I bought it, and I love it. So this is called From an Old Poet to Fatima on Her Journeys. And Fatima used to be in Dallas, I believe. She was a poet busker, and she would has set up a typewriter and write poems right there for people. And she took a trip and she chronicled it on Facebook, and it inspired me to write this poem. So this is from an old poet. Your smile reminds me of when the world was new and I eager to explore. The way I loved the words and they loved me back, filling my days with poetry and my nights with song. Before cynicism curled my talons and the bitterness of defeat deepened my veins. You have, as I, seen the horrors this life has to offer, eaten at the feast of losses and had tragedies served up to you on a platter. Yet you remain undeterred. Striding forth, you conquer, leaving poetry in your wake. It takes a certain bravery that, to sit exposed each night, asking others for their vulnerabilities. Never stop. Chew up all life has to offer and spit it out onto the page. Do not let this world slow you down. Each poem is a spark. Set the world on fire.
To the world when I'm 29. I have just been informed that I am officially out of date. I didn't even know I was stamped. Where do they put that anyway? Nowhere I can see. Maybe it's written in invisible ink and only male eyes can see it. That explains a lot. Here I am thinking I'm in the prime of my life, wondering why all the men aren't simply flocking to my door. Now I know. I am just a stylishly insignificant woman made up of sticks and stones and words and bones, all wrapped up in a colorfully drab package, and I have expired. This explains why I'm still single, with cats and boots and hats. I'm not good enough. Wait, maybe I am, and that's the problem. I really am all that, and they're just all in awe of my greatness. Wow, the importance of being me. Stand back, everybody. I feel a God complex coming on. I'm such a contradiction. I'm a cynical romantic looking for a fairy tale I don't actually believe in. A dreamer who refuses to put on the rose-colored glasses. I'm feeling rather like that nursery rhyme. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With docks and hats and cakes and cats and shattered china all over the floor. It's enough to leave a sour taste in the mouth. But I don't want to be sour. Although, come to think of it, I really don't want to be sweet either. Vanilla is just so plain. I want to be polka dot flavored. I figure it's a good flavor to be should one decide to go tromping around the beach incognito in red velvet docks. They'll never see me coming. Better watch out though. I've got a pen in one hand and a used book of matches in the other. Don't mind the smell of smoke that surrounds me. That's just all of my bridges. Didn't someone once say you can't go home again? So there's no use having a way back then, is there? My problem is I can't seem to tell my past from my future. So what the hell? Burn them all at once. After all, in 2 days' time, tomorrow becomes yesterday. So in a way, I'm being proactive. In fact, I'm so proactive, I'll be packed up and gone before you even knew I was here. Except despite all the moving, I don't seem to be getting anywhere. How is that possible? The scenery keeps changing. So why don't I? I am a strong woman, right? Well, if I'm so strong, why can't I break out of this rut? I'm afraid I'm settling. And isn't that just another word for giving up? Question is, what am I settling for? Me? Mediocrity? Nothing? And which is worse? Settling for nothing or something? It's all so confusing. Guess in the end, it all comes down to me. With a pen in my hand, I can write my own map. And it shouldn't really matter if I'm only drawing circles around myself, just as long as I get to where I'm at. It'd be really helpful if somebody gave me a handbook. I mean, if I came with an expiration date, there should be a handbook too. Not that I'd actually read the directions or anything, but it's the principle, right? I'm sorry, I know pity parties aren't attractive, but I'm out of tea. The birthday cake's stale, so I'll just have to serve what I've got laying around. They say you're your own worst critic. It's a good thing criticism is nothing but words, since words are just words, unless they're true. In which case, it's good that, in the end, I've run out of things to say.
Nice
Great
beat,
ending.
Jenna.
Great
Yeah.
ending to that one. Yeah.
So, it's been a little over 6 years since I lost my mom, and I couldn't write for about the first 2 years. And Tammy and I had a long conversation one day, and she said, "When the time is right, the words will come." And she was right. And this was the first thing I wrote after losing my mom. It's called Living with Grief. I put myself in a jar with a tight-fitting lid because I couldn't stand the screaming any longer. The trouble is, I have nowhere to store myself. I stuck the jar on the piano next to the sheet music. Sometimes I catch the cat staring at me like he knows I didn't poke holes in the top on purpose. While peeling carrots, I turned up the radio to drown out the soft pounding from me beating on the clear glass sides. I serve dinner, talk on the phone, take the dog for a walk, and entertain friends while I wait for the air to finally run out.
Wow, that's yeah, that's pretty apt definition of grief right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
The
glad.
world on my
I'm glad you,
oh,
I'm glad you survived the glass. The glass gave way, and you got to breathe again.
Indeed.
Sorry, Shanna, I didn't mean
that's
to
okay.
talk over you.
To the world on my 30th birthday. I am hereby tendering my letter of resignation. I quit. I give up. No longer will I attempt to clamber up cliffs, decipher rivers and roads and unreadable maps, or sift through the shards of china hoping for the miraculously unbroken cup. I've had my fill of unreliable relationships, the lack of logic in boys, and the excess of chaos that seeps from unintentioned auras into unsuspecting souls. I've had enough. No more games, no more rules, no more aimless wandering, no more. I know you've heard it all before, but I don't have time to bemoan the past. I'm having a hard enough time with the present, to say nothing of the future, which I should say nothing of anyway, since nothing is certain and everything changes and tomorrow's another day. I've been waiting for clarity, passing off poetry as wisdom, creating a trail of breadcrumbs that no one in their right mind would want to follow. My words, the roadmap of my life. Sorry, it doesn't come equipped with a key. That would be far too easy. And we all know by now how much I like the difficult route. Who am I kidding with this? If nothing else, I've learned that poetry makes nothing happen. Poetry is just words after all, nothing but wishes written in rhyme. And I no longer believe in wishes. Wishes are magic, and magic belongs to fairy tales. I've always been suspicious of happily ever after, because what happens next? That's the real story. The parts they don't tell you about, the parts I'm still trying to muddle through. I stand here looking back not just at a year, but at a third of my life. 10 years since the first breadcrumbs fell. The distance is disturbingly short. The journey of 1,000 miles, and yet I'm a mere step away from the beginning. Still single, a little more cynical, not quite broken, but certainly not fixed. And I'm ready to give up on the whole damn thing. I've been waiting for clarity, praying for some kind of sign to let me know something. That's the problem with signs. Even if they're recognized as such, we usually misinterpret them. I've been waiting. And that's the whole problem, isn't it? I've come to a point where risk is no longer an option. It seems to be the only thing left. That means throwing myself at the mercy of a journey that, to get from point A to point B, manages to meander through points Q, Z, and 12, some of which aren't even on the same map. Oh, screw the bloody map. So where does that leave me? A dreamer, a writer, a cynical lover wishing on unlit birthday candles, and all of it screams potential unfulfilled. Wait a minute. Aren't I supposed to be the one screaming? Isn't that what strong women do? Not sit around waiting for the other shoe to fall. And while I realize that disappointment has never let me down, maybe it's time I stood him up. We do not go down easy. I was once informed that random screaming is good for the soul, so you'll have to forgive me, but I quit! I give up! Oh, and who says poetry makes nothing happen? Got you to listen, didn't it? Happy birthday to me.
Okay. So this is called Little Feet. The sunlight has begun filtering through the curtains. My husband has brought coffee. I've propped the pillows against the headboard. Silently, they have been waiting for us to settle in for the weekend morning ritual. Softly greeting, they come one by one, jockeying for position, one next to him, another next to me. This one stretching and yawning, that one head-butting his way through the others until the bed is filled with purrs and other cat grumblings. Quiet 40-somethings, we attempt to read through a gray paw here, a black tail there. An orange head has slid onto a corner of my book, preventing the turning of pages. We smile, move small body parts, and scratch heads accordingly. This is what our family looks like. We have survived the loss of a child, the loss of parents, the loss of unemployment, death of friends closer than family, cancer, and the long struggle of accepting the hard truth that the only pitter-patter of little feet this house will hear will be that of feline and non-human. But none of that matters now on this cold fall morning, snuggled in bed with the only children we will ever know. Our little world is filled with love, gratitude, security, knowing that whatever comes, we will survive, content in this world that we have built together.
To the world on my 33rd birthday. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the world my words to keep. And if I should upon this pen fall, I have learned to expect nothing at all. Resignations and job applications aside, I've come to a difficult decision. In order to move forward, you must take the first step. If I didn't know better, I'd consider this risky. But since risk gave me up as a lost cause, this must be something else. Possibly determination, maybe bravery. In my case, it's probably simple stubbornness or insanity, since haven't I done this already? I've walked away from the cliff. unencumbered by maps or cracked china, flowered ducks on my feet and a fedora on my head. I left the sunglasses with the cats. I want you to see me coming. This is a new look for me. No masks, no personas, nothing to hide behind. Just a pen and paper to declare, loudly of course, that yes, I am a strong woman. So what if men like to pick inopportune holidays to break up with me? So what if the job that is dangerously close to a career is getting closer to the outer circles of hell than reality? Sometimes all it takes is the lack of a phone call to tell you it's time to cut your losses and run. And that's not always a bad thing. Turns out I knew how to pray all along, but the answer I got was no. That's not always a bad thing either. Trouble has always been a faithful friend, but I'm ready now to leave him behind with failure and fly solo. If that means at times I crash and burn, so be it. I wouldn't be the first to come back from the ashes, and I certainly won't be the last to fall. Do you see me? I've stripped it all away, leaving nothing but scars, hard-earned badges of battles fought, and if not won, at least survived. And in the end, that's what matters, isn't it? If you can manage to merge your fiction with your reality, miracles can indeed happen. There's no angel here, no princess in need of saving, just a cluttered writer who has finally realized that rose-colored glasses are fine, as long as I remember to take them off, at least once in a while. So I ask again, do you see me? Take a good look, flaws and all, and light that candle. I'm ready to make a wish. Happy birthday to me.
This is the poem that I titled this book after. I don't know. Dancing on the Edge of Memory. It's warm here. The sand is shifting beneath my feet. The waves slamming into my legs, reminding me with each jolt that I can be removed with little effort. She who gave us life can take it back so easily. She is old, the ocean, teeming with life, death. I have stood on this beach many times seeking answers. I crave the knowledge she holds. I am jealous of her strength, her beauty, her ability to continue. I have given up all my secrets and now stand vulnerable in her arms. I am grieving the loss of my loved ones. I am guilty of surviving when so many have died. I may have healed, but I am still not whole. The person I long to be again is dancing on the edge of memory, not close enough to grasp, too far away to do me any good, and I am waiting patiently for answers from the oldest being I can find. But she is silent, content to keep her knowledge to herself. I turn to leave. She continues to ignore me, filling in the holes in the sand made by my feet, erasing all traces of my intrusion into her world. I remain broken and empty, hollow and cold. In the days to come, I will return to see if she continues to be unsympathetic to my plight, or if she will offer solace, validation. Until then, I will carry the shells I collected in my pocket as a reminder of how short life can be.
This is the last piece in my book, and I am normally not a political person. I try to keep politics away from anything I write because that just leads to fights and arguments, and I really don't want to hear it. However, sometimes events need to be talked about, and that was what 44 was about. To the world when I'm 44. How do you start a revolution? How do you change the world? I am 44 years old and have spent this year watching the world burn. States, whole continents even, burn to the ground. Watched a country turn a worldwide medical emergency into a political circus. There's no admission fee. Just turn on your TV. You do have to bring your own popcorn, though. A reality TV host has been running the country. He doesn't care that he's running it to the ground just as long as he's running it. Like the rich bully on the playground, he throws a tantrum anytime he's told no. Does that make us a democratic dictatorship? How do you start a revolution? He has all the words. He is the best at leadership and management. No one has ever been as good as he is. At everything, really. And the rest of the world wonders when their serious, intelligent drama became a comedic farce, not suitable for younger viewers. 4 years ago, but who's counting? How do you change the world? I didn't want my world to change, but my body kept betraying me. My dream come true job became a corporate nightmare. A place that once valued individuality now slams the door if you so much as open your mouth. Cut off from security just as the world came to a stop. We held our breaths, watched in growing horror as the numbers climbed day by day. Then the entitled poor became bored, so it's over now, right? Because you have things to do. Never mind the thousands of the suddenly unemployed. Never mind the still increasing numbers. Never mind putting others at risk. Grandma won't mind dying as long as it means you get your nails done and the economy stays strong. Bow before the almighty dollar. Or doesn't money make the world go round? How do you start a revolution? I'm floundering, scrambling to come up with a plan B I never expected to need. No amounts of cats or docks or hats will fix or change this. And the map of my life does me no good if I can't leave the house. At least I have tea. How do you change the world? Start by surviving, by standing up for decency, by standing up for those who are threatened, for their skin color, their religion, their sexual preference or orientation, by telling the bullies, no matter how rich they are, no, you don't get to act that way. I've watched the world tear itself apart. I am still grappling with hard truths that I can do nothing to change. But someone has sent me anonymous potatoes, and for a moment, the world wasn't as dark. So here's a candle. Share it. Survive. Start a revolution. Change the world. Make a wish. But don't forget to blow out the candle, because the world has burned enough.
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, and Crystal, yeah, go ahead. You're going to read another?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure what was happening. Okay.
So this was written around the same time that she wrote that one, and kind of the same theme because we were both in COVID lockdown. This is called One Day, or Wishing Upon the Future After COVID Lockdown. Sybil and I will drink coffee together early in the morning with sausage McMuffins and hash browns. Eat at Olive Garden for lunch. In the evening, she will come over with her husband and 2 sons. We'll stay up playing Dead of Winter and probably lose. Daniel will make some Thai food, and I will make a big plate of egg rolls. We will crowd around the table with his daughter and my husband, eating and laughing and telling stories. Reagan and I will smoke cigarettes in the carport while gossiping about people we used to know and reminding each other about embarrassing things we did as children. We have a lot of stories built up over 30 years together. I'll feed Tammy's cats while she's gone on a grand adventure. When she returns, we will read our poems side by side together in person, instead of on a computer screen. The house will smell of Laura's cookies and Bear's stuffed peppers, and we will eat and play games. Sammy will play with the cats and draw. Afterwards, we will sleep with full bellies and full hearts after a magical evening with the people we love. My Dungeons and Dragons group will all squeeze in around the table. The kitchen will be filled with empty pizza boxes, and their laughter will echo off the walls of my dining room instead of through my computer speakers. In a perfect world, I'll get my job back, and my coworkers and I will get to be a great big family again. But it's not a perfect world. It will never even be the world we had before. I think it's really all just beginning for us. People are just now starting to disappear. The lessons that could have been learned from the rest of the world have been ignored not only by our leaders, but by our neighbors. One day, everything and everyone we know could just be memories. When this is all over, I will go to the bar with Paul. We will drink whiskey and reminisce about these days of isolation and fear. We will compare notes on cats and hard truths about the human condition, then toast shots to our dead loved ones, for that's what old poets do. And I am. You don't want to read them all?
No.
Okay. Me too.
Okay. Well, tell them where they can find it.
Oh, anybody that wants our book, we put it on my Etsy page because we couldn't figure out how to do it any other way because we don't have a website. So I'll post the link in the chat, and then her book is 10 and mine is 7, and we're happy to mail it to wherever it needs to go. And thank you for listening.
Yes.
All right.
I love it.
Duo. Thank you.
Yay.
I love that last line, sharing whiskey. And that's what all old poets do. I love that.
Just seeing a lot of these. Big Fish is very active.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that attachment?
Oh, okay.
Did you see the attachment, the file that I attached in the chat?
Yeah, I was trying to open it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Big Fish is putting his 2 cents in.
He's whispering in my ear,
That's what I thought too. It's like,
probably very nasty words.
Oh, and Big Fish, probably.
It looks like a shark.
He's a koi
Mhm.
that okay, so I posted the link. Yeah, he's a koi that is actually actually my uncle stole that fish, so from the Japanese gardens many years ago.
so, okay, for the next 10, 20 seconds, everybody caption this photo and put it in the chat.
That's a great picture. You should put that as your profile picture. That'd be great.
I know those Big Fish whispering words of wisdom.
You should put "Let It Be."
Somehow I don't think Big Fish has ever said that in his life.
Oh, Great. Thank you for sharing the Etsy link. And if for anybody who wants to get in touch with you directly, if they have any questions, do you mind sharing your email or social media?
Sure.
Links? Yeah, that'd be helpful. And what do you have coming up by way of, are you doing any other readings to promote your new book releases, or traveling elsewhere to promote your literature?
Not that we've talked about, but
I'll be at the band book reading you're doing. I don't know. We haven't got anything planned right now, but anything that pops up.
can't believe I've done enough of those to have a book of them.
I know, right? Yeah, we don't have any plans right now.
Thank you, Shanna and Crystal. That was delightful. I know it's super exciting for y'all to have done this together. That's a testament to how
Books.
close you are as friends. Yeah, wonderful. So it's 9:32. We got some time. Does anybody feel inspired now to share another piece or read a poem? If you haven't, especially if you haven't already, I know that there's a couple of folks who've been listening. So we'll give you an opportunity as well if you want to speak a spell or share a poem.
While we're waiting, I would like to express some regret. Tonight, I made a poor dinner choice. The camera has been off and on because the crawdads that got delivered have been an absolute massacre, and there have been cats. And you haven't heard the drama, but yeah, I have survived unscathed. It's a bit of a mess around here. Next time I'll just be having a sandwich. That'll be a lot better.
I'm curious. So you tried to share your meal with your cats, or they kind of swarmed around, or what happened? I was very curious about your dinner arrival.
Yeah, the crawfish and the shrimp came, and I did not realize how much Fezzik, would think that was his, and so I've got the dog on one side, the cat on the other, and I'm listening, and everything is wonderful, but I'm also having to elbow and fight, and so I will be a better audience member next time. Everything has been wonderful.
Well, I love the pets and animal friends who show up in the Zoom meetings when we have these events. That would have been okay for that to be on camera, and then also documented for YouTube enjoyment later. And I guess I could share, because I don't know if very many of you were on the Zoom call last month when Kamala Platt from San Antonio was our featured reader, and just as she was about to start reading, this goat came in and started chewing on things behind her. And I mean, I think I have the video to prove it. I haven't done the uploading to YouTube yet, but yeah, it was a moment, and she was kind of last minute, making her selection last minute, so she was very much focused on the screen and not what was happening behind her. And I felt an obligation, in case that was not a friendly goat, or not her goat that had somehow entered her home. And she's like, oh yeah, it's Muggles, or whatever its name was, and then send it off to the next room. So yeah, I welcome the animal friends who make appearances here on camera. I love it. I was hoping one of my cats would, but they're just really sacked out tonight. But the part that you did get to eat, Laura, was it? Oh, pet sighting.
It was lovely. Cedric is 10 years old now, everybody. He's 10. I can't even believe.
What a face. Oh my
Very good.
gosh. This is a determined animal. But what you got to eat was it good? Tasty?
Yes, it was delicious.
Good.
It was delicious. Thank you.
¿Qué más quiere leer? Anybody else want to share a written or improvised piece? You know, we could do some word art, or something else like that if you like. Whatever you feel like sharing and saying. I might share one later, but I don't want to do it yet. I'd love to hear someone else if they've got something. Or if you want to, I know, Richard, you do a lot of readings, hosting or attending. If there's anything going on that we could virtually attend, or if you want to just tell us what you're working on lately.
You know, it's funny. I've been kind of, I've kind of pride on organizing things, and I've done so much of it for years. And but the next two things I'm involved in are in person. That it's finally sort of happening, at least for a short time, and then maybe not. But yeah, so there's a little lit festival in a town just south of here at the end of this month, and but it's in person. I have a group reading at that, and then I just got asked to read at the Bay Area Book Festival. Lots of people, so, and that's outside in Berkeley. So I'll get to go be a hippie on the grass, and yay. And that's really kind of true. But yeah, no, nothing big. And I'm honestly, I'm still jet lagged. I'm almost never been jet lagged in my life, but I don't know why it was, but I spent 2 weeks helping my mom in New Jersey, and it was super intense. And I don't feel like it would be appropriate to tell I tell people I have a dysfunctional family, but in many ways, who doesn't? But my family's dysfunction is kind of at its own level. It's pretty special. So it's kind of left me a little bit fried. I've been, like I say, helping my mom and my schizophrenic brother, who's very ill and does everything in his power to make his health worse. And it's really been a intense couple weeks. So, and I had a super long travel back to California. For those who don't know, I'm in Oakland. And almost every time I travel around a little bit, I'm not a world traveler, but back and forth across the country, I'm always fine. But this time I'm still waiting for my chi to catch up with my soma. My body's here, been here for like, almost 2 days, and I'm still waiting to enter it. I'm like somewhere, I'm probably over like Nevada by now, but I'm not quite sure where my energy is. So yeah, that was an improv there for you. I did find a couple lines that I wrote for a friend. I actually wrote it for a birthday card, and I was like, that's actually a really nice, simple piece for anyone who's been through oppression, which is a lot more people than I think. So although I misspoke a little at the beginning of the reading, saying I don't really like for all the guys to talk first, although and then after I got done talking, I was thinking, wait a minute, I'm non-binary and queer, and so maybe it was a dumb thing to say, but this friend has been through more. She's a woman about my age, and like around 60, early 60s, and she's been through more than most people I know individually, like a lot of trauma. And I wrote this, and I thought maybe it'd be nice to just share it. It says, for a friend, and take this to everyone who could use it for themselves. I wish for you a day when you can simply wake and walk into the world without expecting pain or ignorant offense by cretins clamorous. All past, expunged, And there you travel on. Seems like a good wish, you know. So how's that?
That's so
I haven't-
sweet that you wrote that for your friend. That's so kind of you.
Well, I like Susan, and she's, you know, we've all been through things, and we all know people who've been through a lot. Well, most people know people who've been through a lot more than they have, you know, or have a few friends who really, you know, had the shit kicked out of them. So, you know, it's so good to lift people up in general, but it's so valuable to lift specific people up occasionally because you can. I mean, what else are we here for?
Here, here.
That's all.
Rich,
I love
Rich,
Lisa.
oh.
Huh? Go ahead.
Richard, you mentioned are you going to be at the Valley, the Rio Grande Valley Poetry Festival? Is that the one you were mentioning?
No, I'm in Oakland, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So
Yeah, there's that at the end of the month, the 28th through May 1st, the Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival. Some virtual workshops and some in-person presentations in McAllen, Texas.
ooh,
I thought I heard you were going to be there, so I would probably see you.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I used to live in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I know Tammy. Mhm.
Austin. Yep. So Lupe, do you know if the virtual events are free or is there a fee or how does that work? And also, do you mind if you have the
I
link
think
for the
the-
festival? Do you mind putting it in the chat if you have the link?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think the conference fee includes all insight and virtual.
Okay.
And so even if you'd like to just help support the organization, I think the conference fee is 15. I would have to go back to my receipts, and then you could buy also like the t-shirts as well. And again, great organization that would be, you know, great to support. So I will pull it up here and add it to the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. I went to that festival one time and had a really great time. When I first arrived by bus, I got there around 8 or 9 p.m. and they immediately, the people who picked me up, who became friends. I didn't know them at first, but once poets get to know each other, they become friends. But they picked me up. That's when I met Edward Vidaure. He was one of the people that picked me up, actually. And they took me to this place. It's like a German beer garden. And I'm like, oh my God, I just arrived to, I'm at the border of Texas and Mexico, there in El Valle, in McAllen, or maybe it was
Uh-huh.
and they're taking me to a German beer garden. Like, where am
Oh my
I?
goodness.
It was, do you know the name of the place? It was outdoors and oh my gosh, it was really, really good. It was excellent. I want to go back there.
Remember
Well,
there
see,
being,
there you go.
I sort of remember there being a bunch of German towns in Texas. Am I misremembering that there are, right?
I know of a bunch in the hill country like Munster and
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Fredericksburg. But if German immigrants ended up there, they probably started further south or north and then moved their way to, where they wanted to settle, which was, I guess, the hill country. But yeah,
That's right. I remember
Germans,
now.
yeah, for sure. Down there too, I guess. Did you want to read another poem, Lupe?
No, if there's someone that hasn't read yet, if they want to read, I want to make sure that everyone gets to read or just share a thought.
Okay, I don't see any hands going up. I'm going to read one that is kind of old, but it makes me feel good when I share this one because it's jam-packed with a lot of memories that are in my body memory in a way, because yeah, about being outside in nature. Grounded in nature. As I sit with a broken foot, wheeling myself from one room to another, I long to be outside under the warming stare of the sun. Yesterday, I peered through the kitchen window, glancing wistfully at my neglected fire pit in the backyard. It would have been so good to be back there, gathering kindling and fallen tree branches, and later stoking the flames from a crouching position, bent over to serve the life of the fire. But I now have an injury that keeps me physically slow, within the confines of my humble home, unable to bask in the nurturing glow and heat of the sun, the fire in the sky, the earth's gentle gifts. Do I choose to sit in doubt and despairing solitude, or shall I let the earth show me how to survive? Sálvese quien pueda, as Juana Molina sings, whoever can be saved, well, save. I touch the ground with my feet and my fingers when I am able to move freely on the land. I have talked to trees, thanking them for summer shade instead of cursing the heat. I have bicycled through unpaved lots, creating curvilinear paths to avoid the right angles of man-made city grids. I have placed wild leaves on my tongue and called this medicine. I have pulled over in my car, stepping out of traffic to marvel at clouds. I blow kisses at squirrels and feel somehow warmed, think myself rich. If it weren't for nature, I wouldn't be complete. The hottest summer of my memory is 1984, when my sun porch was visited by nighttime raccoons. The coldest night of my winters was spent in an unheated teepee in Colorado. My sweetest nights have been slept on the ground. The meals I'm most proud of have been cooked in my fire pit outside, potatoes, sausages, ember-cooked eggs. The truth is, all my healing moments have taken place in the natural world. The truth is, when the pain is persistent and relief seems impossible, I am reassured by the enduring power of the earth. Lourdes Perez sings, "Donde, donde, donde?" And where is the truth? The truth is in, gosh, I skipped over it. The truth is in making love against the east face of enchanted rock in the middle of your hike. The truth is in staring down fear and a taunting novio as you bicycle down a treacherous hill in Durango. The truth is in crossing a swaying suspension bridge with a frightened Buddhist boy's hand in yours as river rapids crash against boulders below. The truth is in steam rising around your naked shoulders as you bask in penny hot springs in the shadow of a mountain sacred to the Ute Indians on the day your father has died. The truth is in watching the crazy twists of the river, racing your truck down the mountainside to Boulder and knowing that the river always wins. The truth is in the fire pit, which allows you the chance to burn wood and simmer your own internal rages. The truth lies in honoring the earth's place in the plenitude of your life, even when it feels like it's going up in huge tiptoeing flames.
Amazing.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
I miss camping so much. I miss it. I miss being out on the ground.
Mhm.
¿Quién me, how do you say, ¿Quién me lleva? Who's gonna take me?
I think that's a group event, no?
Oh, Poets Camp Out? Doesn't that sound
Yeah.
fun?
Mhm.
I
What's-
have dreamt of such things.
What do you mean? Dreamt of what? A burning
Poets-
man? A burning
po-
poet man?
Poets camping.
I'm not used to reading out loud because I got really thirsty and my throat got dry. So I better get the hang of this if I'm going to be around people more often. Lupe, thanks for putting the link there,
Oh, yeah,
Valley
there.
Poetry Fest.
Yes.
I'm gonna save this chat.
I'm gonna share one slide really fast. Let me see if I can get to it. Somebody said I make this look easy, but like sometimes I'm just where am I? What button do I push? Okay, here I am sharing screen, and this is the slide right here. I am coordinating a banned books reading and I misspelled right to read solidarity event. It's supposed to be RIGHT. Monday, April 25th, here locally in Fort Worth, Southside Preservation Hall. It's a free event. It's going to have the feel of a rally in a sense. You know, a lot of poets are attending and sharing, and family members and a couple of school teachers, and hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 librarians out. The reason why I wanted to do this on Monday, April 25th is because the Texas Library Association is having their annual convention in Fort Worth, and it starts that day. So over 2,000, I counted the zeros, that's right, over 2,000 Texas librarians are registered for that convention. So go downtown and hug a librarian, because they're on the front line of trying to keep the politicians away from, oh, don't touch my books, don't touch my books, keeping them on the shelves. And if you're in Texas right now, you know that it's a shit storm, right? In terms of reproductive rights and access to books in libraries, public or school libraries, and voting rights, et cetera, et cetera. So the person who created this new furor around books, pornographic books in libraries, is named Matt Krause. Matt Krause, you don't have to remember his name, but he's youngish, which kind of annoys me. Like, oh, really? You have that much hate? You're not even, you're so young. You're too young to have this much hate. A Republican Texas representative, so he's an elected official. He decided last October to trot out this a list of 850 or 800 books that are considered bannable. They just rushed it out. I looked at the list. It's got duplicates on it. I mean, they're stupid. They don't know. I mean, and there's I own like at least four. I haven't looked through the entire list. But anyway, Matt Krause actually is running for, if you live in this area, perk up here. He's running for district attorney for Tarrant County. Okay, please get people to register to vote and get them to vote, because this man who wants to ban books wants to be the district attorney in our county where I live, which means, when you're district attorney, you kind of put forth the criminality of things, like, hey, this is my emphasis, and these people are crooks and criminals, and I'm going to make sure we, throw the book at, that kind of energy. So be forewarned, everybody. I'm here to tell you, we got, it's banned books one day and then banned breathing the next, who knows? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Hope you can attend the event. It's not going to be virtual, but we'll try to make a recording of it that can be shared later.
Yay.
And I'm scared. I mean, I haven't organized an event like this in a long, pre-COVID, since pre-COVID. And yeah,
I bet everybody's freaking ready for it.
There's so much energy, Richard. They are, like, people are so ready to be in person and hug and read poems, and and you're experiencing that in the Bay Area. I know you've been out more than in a long time, and you
but you get to have tons of people pissed off at something. You get to have
that too.
People pissed off at something, and that's even funner, I guess.
There's your revolution, Shanna, right there. But you've done readings out at the ocean, right, Richard? Weren't you and some artists doing ritual ceremony things out? Was that on the On the mountain
Oh,
or by the sea?
I don't know. I mean, I had a group of people go out to this, little point on the bay
Okay.
in the fall, to do some, little ritual and poetry. Yeah.
Does anybody have any last bits of information to share? We'll be doing this again next month, the third Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not sure yet who the feature is. I can't remember. But thank you so much to Shanna and Crystal for being our featured poets for tonight. That was such a pleasure.
Thank you for listening. Thank you
you.
for having us.
And
It
if
was
anybody,
wonderful.
yeah, it was. And yeah, if anybody has any closing parting statements or words, please take the space now to do that.
Happy Poetry Month, everybody. Hopefully see you next month.
Yeah, it's only half over. Keep poetizing, y'all. Thank you, Jeffrey, for reading. I know you don't read often, but it's always a treat when you do have something for us. Thank you. I am going to stop recording. So you're going to hear that lady's voice probably. Thanks so much for joining us here at Recordando, April 2022.